It is Ederson. Not the Manchester City goalkeeper, but there was an article coming out of Atalanta that said Liverpool are said to be keeping tabs on Atalanta defensive midfielder Ederson. I really, really like this guy. Really like him. Usually I would say to you when I watch Atalanta games, X and Y wouldn't stand out or blah blah blah. But I've noticed Ederson. He is very good in that role, in my humble opinion. At 24 years of age, I think it's perfect. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe and secure from hackers. Using Surfshark, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries or other streaming platforms like DAZN in Spain for all those important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. Everything. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe from being hacked if you use public Wi-Fi. Let's say you're in a cafe, you're at college, you're out and about, they've got you covered. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning you can share your account with friends or family or that neighbour who's a little bit cheap. On top of all of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can also upgrade to Surfshark One, which includes the VPN, an alert system for breaches related to your data such as emails and credit cards, and an antivirus software for your desktop. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for a little over €2 a month and you'll get an additional 3 months free. Simply scan the QR code on screen right now or use the link in the description and enter the code Anfield Agenda at checkout. Do I think Bajcetic can cement his place in the number 6 next season? It's a difficult question to answer without knowing exactly what way Arne Slot's going to line up with Liverpool. I do think in the 4-2-3-1, if that is the formation that we end up playing at Liverpool, I do feel that there is scope for Bajcetic to be part of that double pivot. But I do think it's a risk if you go into another campaign banking on his fitness and his level to be okay. The talent is there. The future is secure for him. But I don't know if we can go into another season hoping for a solution in a defensive midfield position rather than going out and solving it. Endo was a very good sticking plaster, is probably the way I'd describe him, but not the answer. Arsenal went out, brought in Declan Rice. You know, Real Madrid went out, brought in Arlie and Tchouameni. We need to do similar. You know, we tried to do it with Caicedo. We were beaten to the punch by Chelsea. We need to act in that way, in my opinion. But on that kind of leads me back to David Lynch's comment where, and again, David likes to say that he doesn't like things taken out of context or whatever, and I understand where he's coming from, but I'm going to just read this post that Anfield Edition posted, quoting him from a recent Anfield Index podcast. And if I don't see how this really could be out of context, but however, I'm going to read it out anyway. It would be a struggle to see Liverpool signing a defensive midfielder this summer without a departure. And some people might look at that and think he means the owners are being cheap. I don't think that's what he means when he says that. I think he makes a very valid point about Liverpool's midfield places being quite packed. We might not necessarily have enough defensive midfielders, but if you go through the list of midfielders that currently are at the club, I mean, we basically went through an entire season without Thiago and Bajcetic and still didn't really notice the drop off in the amount of midfielders available. So I do understand where David's coming from, and I think we could do with moving a midfielder or two on. Who that is, I mean, that will be open to debate. I'd sell Curtis Jones, personally. I don't think he's ever going to be consistent enough for us in the first team. I know that's not solving a defensive midfield position, but it is freeing up a midfield position. Other players like Bobby Clark, I'd probably loan out again for another season because I think Bobby Clark will come good in the long term. Bajcetic, again, I think it would be a massive risk going into the season and hoping that his fitness and his form can both be there. So I agree. I don't want to sell Endo because I like having Endo around and I think it's important that we have some options as a defensive midfielder. So the name that was doing the rounds a lot today is one that I have to say, finally, I can say I've seen enough of and that I really like. And the name that I'm going to bring to you guys is the one I mentioned in the video earlier on today. It is Ederson. Not the Manchester City goalkeeper, but there was an article coming out of Atalanta that said, Liverpool are said to be keeping tabs on Atalanta defensive midfielder Ederson. The Brazilian has played an important role in this team this season, helping the Italians to go on and lift the Europa League trophy and a guaranteed top 4 finish. Tutto Atalanta claims Liverpool will consider an approach for the 24-year-old, who has 3 years left on his deal. Arne Slot likes to play with a midfield double pivot, and Ederson would fit into that mould. I really, really like this guy. Really like him. Usually I would say to you, when I watch Atalanta games, X and Y wouldn't stand out or blah, blah, blah. But I've noticed Ederson. He is very good in that role, in my humble opinion. At 24 years of age, I think it's perfect. I've seen figures of about 40 to 45 million mentioned elsewhere, but I would definitely take up the option to sign Ederson if it was something that appealed to Liverpool, because he's really impressed me, and I think he's in the perfect age point now. You've got Endo, who's 30, you've got Bajcetic coming through, and Tyler Morton, who are younger, and then maybe you've got this guy, 24 years of age. I like it. I like the idea of bringing him in at 24 for the here and now, allowing the development of Bajcetic as well. Endo stay to nurture the upcoming young ones. Look, there's no doubt in my mind Endo has a place in this squad. You notice when Endo's not on the pitch what you're missing. So I do think Endo should be kept around 100%. Sell Curtis Jones, Nat Phillips and Salah if no new contract, and Chimicus got to go, said Andre Nielsen. Andre, I agree with every damn word you've written there, bro. Every one of them. For varying reasons, right? So I'd sell Curtis Jones because I'm sick of the inconsistencies, and, one swallow doesn't make a summer. Who's going to make the That's What She Said joke? Come on. So I'd sell him in a heartbeat. I don't think he's going to cut it, and I do think that the fact he's a Scouser probably does adds to keeping him around, and he's homegrown. Nat Phillips deserves to go and play football elsewhere. He deserves to establish himself. Salah, again, I agree with you. You said if no new contract, and it doesn't look like there is going to be a new contract forthcoming from what we're seeing lately. So for me, letting Salah go on a free would be absolute madness. And Costas Tsimikas just isn't good enough, in my opinion. He's a lovely guy. I've nothing against Costas, but he's not going to take over from Andy Robertson. He's not going to become Liverpool's starting left back. And I think that tells us everything we need to know. So yes, if there were some players to move on, I don't have any arguments with all of the names you've mentioned there. Craig, we still need a top DM. I think Ederson could be that guy. Honestly, I think he is really, really good. And when I seen this link today, it's one that really excited me, because I watched him. He stood out on a few occasions. Great energy, great defensive awareness, and just a really good, solid player. So I'd have no issues. I'd rather him than Liverpool going to sign Coop Miners, who is a little bit older, isn't a number 6 really, and Juventus are also interested in. So for me, this will be the guy at the right price. Jones is one of the best midfielders in our squad. I don't think he is. And now look, it's an opinion thing, and I'm not going to jump down your throat, George, for you saying that he is. Curtis Jones has been like this for Liverpool. Up and down, up and down. Injury, lack of form, brilliant form, then lack of form again. His press is really impressive, but I just don't see the consistency. I just don't. I'd be hard pressed to sell a homegrown player, all right. There is that side of it. But I can't see an argument from being one of the best midfielders in the squad. He's nowhere near it, in my opinion. You know, you've got at least 3 off the top of my head who are better than him in every way, shape or form. And I throw Elliott in the mix as well. So I think Curtis Jones, he didn't build on that impressive performance that he had the season before this, and some of this season, because he showed that he's capable of being brilliant. But consistency is just so important, and availability as well. Jones is a great squad option. No reason to move him on. Well, we're just having a conversation, Alejandro, about the fact that Liverpool are very well stocked in midfield. So if you do want to bring somebody in, so let's say Arne Slot plays a 4-2-3-1 for Liverpool. As an example, where does Jones fall into that system? Because the right side is going to be Salah. potentially Dominic Szoboszlai. Centrally, you're looking at McAllister, Elliott. Maybe you could throw him into the mix for that central position, but he'd still be second or third on my list. And I think you could get a pretty penny for him. So I think we're kind of stocked in midfield. That's why I'm talking about maybe selling Jones. I don't think it's going to happen, by the way. I don't think Liverpool are going to sell him. But for me, he's certainly one that I think we could afford to move on. Curtis Jones reeks of a Fulham player. Could be a good shout, yes. Although I don't know, would he move down to London? See, London would put me off if I was a footballer. The bright lights and attraction of London wouldn't be it for me. I live much more of a quiet life, so the likes of Liverpool, Manchester, somewhere a bit quieter would be better for me. But maybe, I don't know, maybe Curtis Jones as a young lad would like the bright lights of London.